You would like to sit up?
I like to sit here. In Upanishads, they are told, when he has said, he addressed a thing to the Brahman. He has said, you are the tree, you are the old man, you are the boy there, and you are the blue.
Yes.
Which means that everything is the divine reality. We want to know the difference between the word Satchidananda and the word Brahman. What is the difference in the terms?
The question is, what is the difference between Satchidananda and Brahman? Satchidananda is more impersonal. It is a state of existence, state of consciousness and bliss. Impersonal. But Brahman is personal. When Brahman is addressed in that passage, it is the divine as a creative person. You understand? Not impersonal. An impersonal reality, infinite, can create only something infinite and impersonal. You and I can't be created. We are personal, limited beings. So, that formulates itself into a personal formation. And they call it by different names. At one time as Brahman, at another time as Vishnu, like that. Difference is personal and impersonal.
Sri Aurobindo and Mother have told that the world is real and it is the growing manifestation of the divine. And but Mother has once told, the world as you see it is an illusion. I request you to explain this.
The question is, Sri Aurobindo has said that this world is a manifestation of God. And somewhere Mother has said that the world as it is an illusion. There is no conflict because she does not say that the world is an illusion. Our idea of the world, our understanding of the world is an illusion because we forget the divine consciousness in everything. We behave as if everything is different, everything is self-existent. Now this is false. This is, our knowledge is illusory, that things are different from each other and things are self-existent. It is not. Things are there because they are manifestations of the divine. Second, the world as it is not yet the full manifestation of God. It is a growing manifestation, step by step. That is why all the values and qualities of God are not yet organized in the universe. When the manifestation becomes complete, the Satchidananda itself will be organized here. Krishna Rao, you have to come here. Or you sit here. Let us finish your questions. Yes.
Is perfection unattainable?
No. Perfection is wrongly understood as the highest state, but it is not so. Each level of existence has an optimum point when all the elements on that level are integrated so as to be effective in their optimum degree. That is the perfection. Perfection is the highest possible organization of things on that level. On another level, the perfection will be different. That is what is meant by saying perfection is relative. It depends upon what is our state of life. So a perfection for a child will be different from perfection for me. So perfection is attainable when taken in this sense.
Ben Johnson put it. Ben Johnson put it. It is not growing like a tree that makes a man better be. In small measures, life can perfect be.
It's
The
nice.
idea of the day is far fairer in
I see. It is nice. It is nice.
Have you had the other occasion to see Swami Brahmananda, the spiritual affair of Ramakrishna Paramahansa?
No, but I have read. Because he passed away, I think, in 1922. And I was born in 18. So at 4 years, I had not heard of neither Ramakrishna nor these. I started hearing of them when I was about 9 or 10. But I have read much about him, and his book Eternal Companion, I have benefited by it.
On which aspect of the individual does the soul react? What I mean is this. According to mother, some premature children die because of the ill treatment or because they are not satisfied with the treatment by parents or environment or some such thing. But equally, there are some spiritual stalwarts who also die at a very young age. And there are people who are very rich but still they also die at a younger age. And I am seeing beggars who are living up to 90 years, 95 years. How does the soul react with the individuals? On which aspect of the individual soul react?
It is not true that a soul will leave the body because the treatment from the parents or others is not good. No. That is too minor a cause for the soul to withdraw. The soul will learn to benefit by it, using it as an experience, to develop a certain strength from within, to bear that kind of treatment. It is only if the soul feels that what it has come to experience in this life cannot be done, either because the body is not supportive, or for any reason conditions are not cooperative, general conditions, then, or if it has found that it has done a mistake in coming to this body, then it withdraws. There are cases of geniuses, spiritual figures who have left their bodies very early. That is because they have completed the work they came to achieve, and once that work is done, they lose interest in continuing, and the soul goes back. As far as the poor people, miserable people, living long and long, there is a meaning in it, and that is, at times and very often, the soul chooses the school of hard experience, long suffering, to evolve quickly. Sri Aurobindo compares this to children in a school, leisurely studying, leisurely going here. So a soul takes things very leisurely, not serious about anything. But there are some who want to progress quickly. So, as a person wanting to develop a strong muscular body, he will not be content with light exercises, but will choose hard exercises. So, a soul chooses a life of what you call suffering, so that it can grow quicker, become ripe earlier. And no wonder it is not in a hurry to leave the body. The suffering itself develops a certain inner fiber which enables the person to bear anything. A poor person, he will bear any amount of starvation and still live and work. You and I can't do that. Similarly, persons used to suffering, they stand it, and through suffering they progress. But it is a suffering by choice. So they continue. The inner system, there is no such thing as suffering, shocked by suffering to them. There is no such thing as shrinking for them. Because by habit they have learned to adjust themselves to any pressure of suffering. Like people who will bear any amount of harsh treatment. Some will break down, but there are some hardcore, they will bear. It is inner strength. So that's the explanation.
Please allow me to narrate one incident.
Yes, welcome.
For last 11 months I was not given any job, any official job in the office. I am a trade union president.
I see.
Our trade union is registered under Society Act without a right to strike class.
Oh, I see.
Majority of the officers never read this constitution because they do not know of their own constitution.
I see.
So they said the best way to make him silent is don't give him any job, neglect him, he will become mad. Then when his family comes, he will ask him to sign that I will not participate in union movement here.
I see.
That was the plan. Then I was neglected. I was having Lalita Sasnam and Tamil literature and writing an office paper every day. Go to the office, sign sincerely and come out. It happened nearly till 19th of this month.
Uh-huh.
Last month, 26th, I had an interview with the commanding officer. At that time, he said, your union is not recognized.
Uh-huh.
And then our constitutional provision does not anticipate or demand recognition, sir.
Uh-huh.
I told him recognition is a formality. Registration is a legality and finality. But these things could not enter into his head. He said, you can function outside this depot.
Okay.
If I can function outside this depot, and your unit must go outside India, sir. I told him.
You told us.
Because I derived power from the President of India, and I have sovereignty undiluted to a certain extent with me. And if you are also having the same sovereignty, which I am sure you are showered with, you cannot ask me to get out. So, you may hate me, yet you have to tolerate me. Then he said, I am granting interview to an individual, Mr. V.K. Narasimhan, an employee, and not to secretary. Okay, sir, I will concede this point also. Now, the individual has a point. Can you listen to him? Yes. You are ready with points. Where do you get points, he said. People with joints can easily make points. Then I have not been given task till now. I am getting complete pension while on duty. Why not I put up an application and ask this salary to be paid at home? Why should I come here? Then he said, are you going to put up an application? If I want to put you in trouble, I can put it. But if you think that Narasimhan has got better values, you can reconsider the decision and ask direct the concerned officer to give me task. 21st they gave, 19th morning I was given the job. 21st I said, I have won the battle, I will be away for 20 days. I came out. And during this period, they gave me a charge sheet for writing Hindi. I was writing Lalitas Sahasranam, Devanand. Then I answered it stating, I am a government employee for last 20 years. Hindi was not taught to me. The government is spending crores and crores. My learning Hindi during office hours by my own self efforts cannot in any way offend the discipline of office. Then they said, you will send it to ministry. They said it is highly indisciplined. Discipline and indiscipline two ways. Indiscipline also has got a method. There is a method of madness also there is a method. So you send it to law ministry, they will say which one is correct. They have no guts to send it because Hindi was not taught. And I told them during my conversations with Sri Prakasa from Governor of Madras and he said, he quoted one instance to me that in Pakistan when he was the first ambassador, High Commissioner, a sect of Banaras Muslims approached him to come back to India because they were treated like slaves by the Sindh Muslims. Similar will be the position for South Indians if you neglect Hindi. That's why I am keen on learning Hindi ahead. Then they gave me. So it is only willpower.
Yes, Krishna.
Certain extrasensory characters, Ati Indriya Shakti. Particularly we find this in the case of animals, and very few human beings have it. But none of these are useful for either for the society at large or for the individual. Say recently some cyclone Hurricane has come in Divi Taluk. Some 70-meter high tidal wave has come. And few hours before that, it seemed the dogs were barking like anything. They were weeping like anything. And they are running away here and there. And they are also going to the rooftops and then barking like anything. Rats are coming out. The cows and cattle head were running. So they were sensing some sort of impending danger. And similarly, they have some sort of a sense of hearing very low wavelength sounds. And some human beings also have these extra sensory characters. But how is it they are not useful to the society? Particularly animals have it.
But why do you say that they are not useful to the society? They should be useful.
But people are not able to recognize this, and many thousands have died.
Yes, but the thing is, this extrasensory perception is an exception rather than normal at present. At the animal level, it is normal. But with the arrival of man, the mind has interfered, and the instinctive reactions are not functioning, because everywhere the mind doubts, the mind reasons. You understand? The intention in nature is that what we call the instinct at the animal level, as when the consciousness grows, it converts itself into intuition. For that you have to rise above the reasoning mind. Till then, sporadically, people get these subtle sight, subtle hearing, subtle feeling. And nobody takes them seriously. But if it were organized, the mind was educated, and you could be sure that they are correct. Many times now what happens, if 2 or 3 perceptions and things have come true, the rest have found are not true. So people have no faith. It is like astrologers, isn't it? So it can be useful to society. And a time will come when, before such natural calamities and all that, people instinctively feel that this is coming. And they will take the necessary precautions. It is a question of growth. Though it is also true that as consciousness evolves and higher elements establish themselves on earth, these natural calamities also will be fewer and fewer, because the basic imbalance which creates these things will be less. What happened, you said, in this floods and all that? Even years ago, when there was a big earthquake in Yugoslavia, wolves, dogs,
Rats.
Yes, these animals were found, people recollected afterward that right at 2 o'clock at night they had started. And this earthquake took place in the morning. So they have a certain advanced feeling, intimation. And by putting their ear to the ground, they can know movement miles and miles away. They got such sensitive mechanism. But that will be revived on a higher scale as man evolves.
As the stories go, in olden days many people perform the tapasya, the ordeal of tapasya for a long time, and then finally they get at the god and get some boons. And according to stories, it is mostly asuras that are getting these boons. And only very few cases of Dhruva, Prahlada. But in most of the cases, the asuric forces are encouraged by the divine by giving these boons. But does it not mean...
No, asuric force is not encouraged. But the asuric forces have a persistence, and they pay the price for these powers more readily than your good people. You understand? The Asuric people have certain ambition, and so they are prepared to pay the price to get these powers. And the divine law is such.
But in the meanwhile, the Asuric forces will have upper hand.
But it is the divine that loses, don't you see? The divine law is that when you fulfill certain conditions, this is a result. They fulfill it and the divine has to go. Then the divine has to find out stratagems, to outbeat those fellows, asuras. That's the story. But ultimately, as Sri Aurobindo says, even the asuras, rakshasas, pishachas, they are also black children of the Divine Mother. And the Divine Mother cares not only for the white children that are gods, but even for these. She leads them in their way, but she doesn't abandon them.
Till they realize their mistake.
Yes, they realize. Today I was writing something, there was, Sri Aurobindo says in the Thoughts and Aphorisms, if I cannot be Rama, I would like to be Ravana. You see, because he says he represents the darker side of Vishnu. They are exaggerations of certain qualities. They are children who have gone astray. And the divine way is not to throw them aside, but to give them long rope and reclaim them. Mother describes how the divine does not destroy, the divine does not kill, but tries to transform, change, unless they want to be destroyed. And that destruction, Mother said that of the 4 asuras who are standing in the way of the divine manifestation, 1 agreed to be transformed, 1 has refused, 1 said, I don't want transformation and I will not work for you. You can destroy. So she said, he was dissolved in his origin. Origin is divine. He willingly allowed himself to be dissolved. So in the Ramayana and others also, when Ravana is destroyed, he goes and becomes one with the... Yes. He doesn't go to hell or anything.
And even now we are having this Asuric power on top. Cinema actors becoming prime ministers and
It is allowed in the game.
yes.
It is allowed as a game.
When you say that when you find somebody in miseries or somebody is suffering, it is suffering by choice. To what extent it is a suffering by choice?
That is, it varies from person to person. Certain things are invited by our attitudes, by our behavior, by our things. We invite certain sufferings. A person, deliberately creating trouble for others, that sort of thing, he is bound to have a reaction. Exciting himself, it is self-invited. Increasing your blood pressure, opening yourself to a stroke, always shouting wherever you go and making everybody miserable and yourself. Now this is all called self-invited sufferings. So they are not sufferings by choice of the soul. They are invited by the nature, outer nature. The soul is very unhappy at that time. So it depends. But there are some people from childhood onwards, they have a hard life. Now those, you can say that the soul has chosen. Some people are unlucky. Now there you can't say the soul has chosen to be unlucky. No.
Because sometimes we are taught that whenever in difficulty, any calamity it comes to us to teach something, and the moment we learn a lesson out of it, it goes away. It's some disease or something like this. So what should be our reaction to it when we get some difficulty?
It is only partially true. True in the sense that if we are careful, we can avoid, by studying it dispassionately, we can avoid a repetition of that difficulty, calamity another time. This is to teach you lesson to be more careful and benefit by that. But it's not always true. Every difficulty, obstruction, calamity doesn't come to teach us a lesson. You know, by our karma. Karma is a factor. Chance also is a factor. Collective karma around you also is a factor. You may not have done anything, but the fact that you are in a society, member of a society, that exposes you to the action of the collective karma. Mother explains how you are in a plane. So one man with a strong destiny, he is to die. He being there, the plane falls down. So you share in that karma. So these are all complex issues which can't be explained in a dry and cut manner. But what Mother says is, for a spiritual seeker, if he has the right attitude, every difficulty can be turned into an opportunity. By understanding the right attitude, analyzing one's own defects or things, what called for that thing, and changing oneself. It is what people normally in the world, they are not that circumstanced to study dispassionately, understand, adjust and all that.
Inwardly.
But for a spiritual seeker, the divine puts a helpful force with the help of which he can convert everything to his ultimate advantage. Not immediate advantage, ultimate advantage.
Can't a person change collective karma who is having great willpower? You can't change the collective karma also.
There are things.
It is possible. It is possible. For instance, there is a saint. Because the saint is there, a destined accident or something that is to happen will be averted. Many cases like that. Because he is there. It is so powerful that it dispels the effect of the collective karma. But what happens also is, if the collective karma is so strong, somehow that saint will not be there at that time. Even if he has to come, he will miss the train or something and he won't be arriving. These are all different possibilities.
And if a particular individual is having such a background, he will miss the bus and will be saved.
Yes.
If the bus goes into a ravine or some such thing.
Yes, he will be saved. At that time you will feel that it is very wrong that I have missed the bus. And only when he reads in the paper next day that the bus has fallen into a ditch, he will realize, thank God, he would say. Isn't it?
They say anger is danger. Mother feeds a baby with anger, she instills poison. And that is the result of all this diabetes, nervous tension, and all this.
15 minutes.